as we use this to go into our next topic, one term that we didn't, a section we skipped was inverses. Inverses were when in a graph or in a function, when we switch our x and y values. Now, we aren't going to necessarily worry about that. Remember that f of x is the same thing as y equals. Remember, the only time we use f of x is when we're talking about a function, when it's something that passes the vertical line test. Well, long story short, in the section we skipped, this is when we switch, so I'd say x equals 2 to the power of y, and then what we would do is solve for y. The way I want us to look at this is, how do we solve for a variable when it's in the exponent? Now, when we've seen these before earlier, talking about exponents, if we had something like an x squared, I can just say take the square root of it. I wouldn't be able to say minus the y. I wouldn't be able to divide by y. I wouldn't be able to take the yth root of it. There isn't anything that I'd be able to do. So what we have is a new definition. The way that we're able to solve for that, and what will be the definition for the remainder of this unit, if I want to solve for that y is defined as, the variable is defined as what we're now going to call a logarithm. Log, and what we would say is log base 2, and again the way we say it is very descriptive in the sense that the 2 is my base. Log base 2 of x is what I would say. Just like how if you were to say this is f of x, I would say log base 2 of x is what I would say again. This is the definition of a logarithm. And I want us to think of logarithms are exponents. Logarithms are that exponent when I'm trying to solve for the exponent as a variable. The definition, most of this section is just going to be converting back and forth in form. This is what's called exponential form. Exponential because as we see it, there's an exponent in there. Now what we're going to do is, this form is the same as saying if I want to solve for the exponent. N is going to equal the definition of a logarithm. Log base, as I would see here, a of x. This is what's called logarithmic form. Now, most of this, the very beginning of this lesson especially, is just bouncing back and forth between those two forms. Those say the same thing. A logarithm is just an exponent. It's when we're trying to solve for the exponent.